How's it going, everyone? So today we actually have a real video out, and we are going to be working on the E90. There's a few things, the cord in your eyeballs, they're only fix that for you. There you go. A few things we have to do. A few things we figured out that the shop in New York is still as messed up. So actually three things. Had the O2 sensor issue. We got new O2 sensors, got a hell of a deal on them, all four for like $30 some for OEM. They were takeout from a wrecked car, low mileage. Awesome deal. So yesterday, after I dropped that Civic off the Shannon, we jacked this thing up in the air, got all four tires off the ground, got ready to work on. Slid under there, took one of the plastic shields off that cover up the O2 sensor wiring. You're never gonna freaking believe what I found. I don't even know what to even say about this. I'll show you here in a second. Also, had a slight exhaust leak. You're never gonna believe what I found. I kind of knew this before. I could see this before with the exhaust. Let's go over to the car. Let me try to get a headlamp or something on, and we're gonna show you.
Okay, so it's kind of a tight spot. You can see here the collector gasket. Somebody's taken all the studs out. They have some shady bolts. They're all crusty. They're all different sizes. They're all jacked up, right? You can also see, if you look closer, there's actually sealant hanging out of those flanges. So, yeah, that doesn't work. If you look over here a little further, you can see I pulled this thing down, and the wires going to that, where you are, right there, are just all clean cut. So, and cut very close to the plug, and that is on the car side. So we can't just replace the sensor, we have to resplice that in.
So yeah, hopefully that's all the problem with that. And then when we have it up in the air here, we're going to take the traction control off. We'll have to, hopefully we can put it in drive, since it is four-wheel drive, and run it on the jack stands a little bit, and maybe hear where that growling noise is coming from. We figured out last time that the nut on the axle is loose. That can make that kind of noise. I tightened it up and it seemed like it almost made it worse. It could be that bearing. I just can't verify enough that it is that bearing to go order it. And like right now, we order the O2 sensors. I'm faithful whenever I fix that wire, we're not going to need those. So last thing you want to do is order stuff that isn't the problem. Now, the wheel bearing, I found an assembly, the same guy I bought the O2 sensors from, has a bearing assembly, a cartridge bearing that has the hub and everything on it for 28 bucks. Free shipping. I know, right? So, we'll probably do that if I get some kind of noise verification out of that. Why it's up in there, I don't see it leaking anything. I do, every once in a while, get a whiff of transmission fluid hitting the exhaust. I don't see anything to do with that under the car. And it's only coming through the vents of the car, and it's only sometimes, and I haven't smelled it in a while. So it's kind of one of those deals. We'll go ahead and very carefully inspect all of that. I don't know. I don't know how the O2 sensor wires get cut like that up under that guard, so it had to be done you couldn't run over anything and do that. It's not in that place. It's not possible for that to happen. It's not close enough to the dry shaft. The dry shaft didn't rip it apart. It would be a lot worse than what it is if that was the case. Somebody had to cut it, either trying to force that transfer case up in there when they did it and pinched it and sheared it off. Maybe they're playing with swords or knives and playing Star Wars and swinging stuff around. I really can't possibly imagine what's happened under there. However, we're going to try to strip that back, try to solder it all. We're going to heat shrink or shrink wrap all that. Our soldering iron, our wire cutters, and here we have our shrink wrap for the wires, and we got some flux. I have a little bit of solder left. We're almost out of solder though. So we'll go and do it all up really nice and see how it goes. If there's not enough wire to do that, well, I'm not sure. Hopefully there's enough wire to do that. I don't want to go the other direction, which would be snip the the plug-in totally off and hardwire it.
Okay, so maybe we'll set you down ever so carefully right about there. You can see we have everything soldered and shrink wrapped. Now we're going to take some black tape. Oh, I know a lot of you guys just lose your mind when I put black tape on something, but something like this needs to be black taped all together to tie it in, give a little extra cushion, and that'll actually water seal everything. I know. Black tape don't water seal. How dare you? You're such a stupid goof. It is what it is. That's what you're going to have to do. And just to clarify, the plug, they were broken off or cutting off way too close to the plug. No way I could strip them or anything. So unfortunately, it's going to be hardwired in. How you should do this is try to locate that extra plug on there. You guys are recording? Oh yeah. Buy an extra plug and do it like this, but this is just as good as long as you don't have to pull the engine out. And then we're going to take our old piece. What we did here, we just cut off at the O2 sensor side where it goes to the sensor, and we just match all the wires up and make sure they're all good. So we're going to take this, we're going to punch that back in there, and that's just going to sit there and hold that. And now we should be all good. Everything is secure. We'll leave that like it is. Maybe we'll go start it up first and make sure that turned the light off, and then move on to the exhaust.
Okay, so that has that fixed. Kind of pain in the butt. Speaking of pain in the butt, we gotta get that exhaust fixed. Get the exhaust fixed. Need to try to run it in gear and see what's going on. We could do it now. I'd have to let the car cool completely off before I could take the exhaust off, and I kind of want to get that done. So my plan on the exhaust is I have a sheet of that exhaust material. It's like 1 foot by 2 foot, and you just trace or stamp on there the gasket that you need, and you cut it out. Pretty simple. You can buy that, I think, pretty much anywhere. You can buy it off Amazon or anything. It's pretty inexpensive. It's a good backup to have, especially if you have to get something done. Needs a donut gasket and you don't have one. That stuff's perfect. Probably wouldn't use it on exhaust manifold where it bolts to the head. You could, but I mean, whatever. But little 2-bolt gaskets, that's perfect for all that. We're gonna go ahead and try to pull that off. It's gonna be rusty as hell. We did get a new impact. I'll show you that right now. Okay, so here we go. In a long story short, did some work and got this impact for free. Here's my old Craftsman. After about 2 years, it's getting where it doesn't hammer near as hard. That was like 400 foot-pounds in reverse, and I don't know what the forward was, 200 and some change maybe. And this big Makita is 740 in forward and 1180 in reverse. I know, holy. And it's a freaking beast too. Look at that. Weighs 7 pounds without the battery. And this one has 3 different speeds down here on the bottom. You could even see that. Probably not. Maybe. Kinda. So you can set the speeds in forward or reverse. I haven't even got to use it yet. It's getting a lot of bright light here. I stuck it on lugged on the Sequoia to see if it'd take it off. And the hammering motion is so hard on that compared to the Craftsman. The Craftsman, for most people, the Craftsman's fine. The Craftsman, I don't remember, I think it was $129 with the battery. And in exchange for work, we also got a brand new 1/4" drive brushless. This is all brushless Makita stuff, made in Japan. We got a new 1/4" drive brushless and a new hammer drill, all 18-volt stuff, and it's brushless also. We might be doing a review coming up on that. I'm not sure. A lot of guys are curious to see how that Makita does versus some other stuff. And that earthquake impact from Harbor Freight, that was like 4 something for one of those. No way in hell am I going to spend that much money on a Harbor Freight impact. That's off name, off brand. I don't care who did the review on it. We all know about Harbor Freight. Go buying stuff from there, especially anything electronic, and it's going to take a dump on you sooner or later. even if the tool don't, the batteries could be completely junk. Don't know. Anyway, one thing's for sure, if those exhaust bolts don't come off of this, they're gonna come off. They're gonna come off one way or another. Trust me on that one. One thing I do need to do is buy some actual impact sockets for that. That's probably going to explode my Craftsman 12 points. Here's what we took out. They had 4 like Lowe's just junk bolts in there. They're all rusted up. They were too short, and you can see how much the nut was holding on. Only like the last 2 threads. It's just a total freaking joke. I don't know what they were doing. We pulled the gaskets out. The gaskets are right here. All the bolts were kind of loose. The gaskets actually look pretty good overall, but they had this crusty, nasty stuff all over it that looks like JB Weld or RTV Gray or something. It's weird, man. You can see up here. Maybe you can see. You can see up in there. It just, that crap's everywhere. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna go ahead and scrape it all off. I'm gonna get motion sickness here by watching me do all this. Then we're gonna go ahead and we'll find some washers. I went to the store and grabbed some of these stainless bolts. So we got all 4 new nuts. All 4 stainless bolts are about, I don't know, ½ an inch longer than what these other ones were. And yeah, so pretty much the shop that worked on this is a bunch of total goofs. I don't know if I were to say the name of the shop or not. It's in New York. But yeah, they're pretty stupid. They're real stupid, actually. Caused this lady that owns this car a lot of freaking hassle and a lot of trouble for absolutely, positively no reason at all other than being completely incompetent to do anything at all. They had pulled the transfer case out of this thing and, just like usual, just wrecked every single thing they touched or even got close to. We're starting to see that more and more. I don't know. Anyway, let's go ahead and do this. We're gonna put all this back together real quick. The new impact took these things right off. Only one of them was tight, and it just hammered it right off. Before we can let it down, we do 2 more things after we finish this. Engine to chassis ground. That thing looks like it needs to be replaced. We'll see what I got laying around. And the next thing is run it and see what the problem is. So we'll be right back. Okay, so we just used their washers. I didn't have any here that fit that. Everything's reinstalled, looking good. It should not leak now. Now, the burning smell we were smelling, we got to the bottom of that too. Remember I said it smelled like transmission fluid? It's not. It's the shifter cable insulation is all melting, and you can see it's like a big puddle of it right there. I guess I was getting on the exhaust and melting. Sweet. So I'm not sure what to do about that. I think we're just going to trim that up a little bit. I don't know if we need to wrap that with something else. We'll fix that right now. So here it is. It's all melted against the exhaust. So I pull it off. It's not a heat insulation. The cable's not rubbing on anything where this goes at. So I guess we'll just leave it off, but it's all kind of breaking down and getting nasty. Just real thin. Very strange. Okay, let's fix the ground. Okay guys, so clean the ground wire. That thing looks so freaking bad. The ground wires, a couple of them. Of course you can't see it because there's no light. There we go. There's one that goes from the engine. You can probably see it. It's like right there. That one looks like crap too. We didn't clean that one. Probably go ahead and do that one just to be on the safe side. And then that one that is in the driver's side fender well. And the one side, you just pull the tire off. It goes like from the engine up there down to the frame right here on the driver front. And basically it's all green and looks like total crap and needs to be probably replaced. This thing hasn't had the starter issue. I haven't been driving it either, so I don't know. But having an issue to where a starter would not function correctly quite all the time. After the car would get hot, if you go to start it, and it would kind of drag. And the starter had been replaced. That was the starter, but then the more I read on it, that symptom probably is not the starter, and it's probably that grounding system. So I don't know. I'm gonna look through all the boxes of stuff I have here. I might have a ground here. I think you could actually buy those locally, or it's easier for Amazon, really, to be honest with you. Maybe we'll find a grounding kit for the car. The car will be sold. Maybe we'll just let the next guy do it. I don't know. We'll see. I think other than that, we're gonna try to figure out what the growling noise is and see what that's all about. Okay, so we're running in gear. Front driver's turning. Rear driver's turning. Front passenger is not turning. Rear passenger is turning. I think you see that or not. Probably not. And when we hit the gas, this one did not turn. So what the hell's going on here? There is a little bit. I think it's just penetrating oil burning off. That's all I smell there. A little bit of exhaust smell. But I mean, overall, not bad. Yeah, so I don't know. I just ran on the jack stands. The front, like you saw, front passenger tire doesn't turn. Whenever you hit the gas, it picks up, but it's slower than the rest. I don't know if that's anything. Could just be the way it's jacked up. May not be putting power to that one. The back tire was making some noise. Whenever you accelerate, that was just the brakes, rusty from sitting. I don't really particularly see anything wrong. If you guys got any ideas on this one, let me know. But that's going to be all for today's video. It's probably already ran way too long. We'll be live streamed tonight. By the time you see this video, you already got to know we live stream because it's going to be the next day. That's it. Hope you like the video, guys. Hope this helps some of you guys out that have these same common issues. That's all. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.